We continue to track Hurricane Melissa. It has now been upgraded to a Category 5 storm as it heads toward Jamaica. And the National Hurricane Center says it's likely to cause life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding and landslides. CBS News correspondent Jason Allen joins us now live from Jamaica with more on all of this. Jason, we can hear the rain on your jacket. What were conditions like for you overnight? What's happening now?
You know, Errol, this has been such a slow-moving storm. It has been slow to build over the last few days. And even in the overnight hours, we didn't have a lot of wind here in Kingston, but this morning it has started to gust more, and really significantly. Even in the last hour, we can feel it starting to pick up. Now, I'm going to show you kind of this waterway here along the Kingston shoreline. And as you look across the water, that's the airport that's built on a barrier island. So that's acting as a little bit of a break from probably those higher swells that are occurring on the other side. But the wind's really starting to gust. You mentioned you can hear the rain. It's been falling in bands, so it's light right now, but we keep seeing these heavier bands that roll through, and we expect that to get more continuous over the next couple of hours.
And over the weekend, Jason, you were noting that as part of preparations for this storm, they were trying to clear away some of the gullies and waterways so that water could get out. Tell us about that and other preparations that may be happening now.
So you have these huge mountains that surround Kingston. I know you can kind of see the downtown and the business district, and way in the background, you can kind of see one of those smaller mountains back there. So all of that rainfall right now that's landing in the mountains is being carried down through these gullies. And the concern is, in a lot of these gullies, they're still full of silt and mud and trees and vegetation that have grown there over the years, and they haven't been cleared out. And so if we get those rains of 15, 20, 25 inches, the fear from some of those people that live along those gullies is they will fill up, they will back up, and they will flood into neighborhoods. Now, work crews were trying to do whatever they could over the last day or two to clear them out. Exactly how they perform, we're just going to have to see here in the next day.
See some of the birds diving behind you. We want you and the crew to stay safe. Jason will check in with you throughout the day. Thank you. And CBS News New York meteorologist Tony Sadiku has more on the storm's track and your forecast. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Errol. Definitely thinking about the folks in Jamaica bracing for this monstrous hurricane. To Cat 5 this morning. You can see the structure, well-defined eye. It's a compact storm, but man, is it powerful. Top winds at 160. Pressure's now 917 millibars. Movement is west at 3, so it's slow. It's still expected to take a northerly turn this afternoon. By the way, may not be done strengthening. Still a favorable environment. The storm about 90 miles south of the island. Hurricane warnings extend Jamaica to Haiti, all the way to Cuba, too. They're expected to feel the impacts here in the coming days. Now, let's look at the track. It's expected to reach the island by late tonight into tomorrow morning. Devastating impacts in terms of power outages. Some areas could see as much as 30 to 40 inches of rain. That'll lead to some landslides, too, with terrain really disrupting the storm somewhat before it impacts Cuba, the Bahamas, and perhaps Bermuda later this week. Back to you.
All right, Tony, thank you very much.
And we know residents there are stocking up in supplies and making other last-minute preparations. Businesses are boarding up windows, and tourists just over the weekend, they hustled to make their way off the island. Jamaica's 2 main international airports are closed ahead of the storm.
Well, the look of how things is going right now and how I see the sky and the weather coming in, I think this one is different. I think we're definitely gonna have this one gonna impact us hard.
Usually when a storm, they say a storm is coming, usually it doesn't hit us. We don't get the full impact. So me personally, I've never witnessed a hurricane that has damaged Jamaica. So I'm not sure if I'm scared because I don't know what to expect.
And so, Jess, you hear that man saying he's not sure what to expect, but you all are saying this could be catastrophic.
In a lot of ways. I mean, we saw it go from a tropical storm to a Category 5 over the weekend, and it's starting to strengthen. 165-mile-per-hour winds right now as it makes its way closer to Jamaica. We're already seeing the impacts right now, and I want to talk more about it in just a second in the forecast, where it's going. But let's start off with CBS News correspondent Jason Allen. He's live in Kingston, Jamaica. Jason, what's the latest out there?
Hey, Jess. So we're really starting to get some very gusty winds, and we felt them really increase throughout the morning hours. Okay, so that's starting to build some swell along the Kingston waterfront. This is a little bit deceiving what you see here because there's kind of a barrier island that the airport is built up out here, and that protects some of that bigger ocean swell and surge from coming in. But we've got very strong winds. The mountains have taken a little bit of punch out of the rain so far, but that's going to change as the wind direction, the storm direction change. When that wind and that rain starts coming out of the south, we expect it to really start to pick up here in the Kingston area.
You can tell that already. So how are officials on the island helping prepare the residents?
You know, at this point, they're telling them to stay where they are. And in a lot of cases, that's not a safe place. I'm going to turn around here just so you can kind of see, you know, some of the structures that are built up on the waterfront. And yes, some of these are just fishing shacks, but to their left, there are places where people stay. And under 24 hours of winds like this, it's questionable how long places like that are going to be safe places to stay. But they're telling them to stay where they are. It's too difficult to get around at this point. There are shelters available around the city, but very, very few people in them to this point. Most people want to ride it out where they live and protect their belongings.
We're continuing to keep a close eye on them, and they're in our hearts right now. Jason, you as well. Jason Allen, thank you so much. Let's take a look at the forecast, and let's talk more about Hurricane Melissa. Now, a Category 5 as it makes its way closer to the island of Jamaica. Now, within this week's forecast, it will start to head more north, eventually racing over Cuba, pushing all the way out into Bermuda later this week. But where it's at right now, these are strong, gusty winds that they're getting ready for right around the corner as we head into the evening hours tonight. The storm system brings in heavy amounts of rain, up to around 30 to 40 inches forecasted. Flooding is going to be possible in these regions. And here's the track right now. Here's what I'm talking about. As it moves its way north, it starts to lose its strength as it hits some cooler sea surface temperatures. But let's talk about sea surface temperatures, actually. Take a look behind me. That's the main fuel for this hurricane. For the reason why it jumped from a Category 1 to a Category 5 just over this weekend's forecast, it went under rapid intensification. That warm sea surface temperature acted like fuel to let this gain some strength. And this is textbook definition for that eye wall that you see right behind me. As it moves its way closer to the island of Jamaica, we are gearing up for what could be the worst. And another thing to mention too with this strong hurricane, it's the 13th named storm this season for the hurricane season, but it's only the 4th major hurricane. And that's the reason why we're keeping a close eye on it, because as it makes landfall over Jamaica, eventually into Cuba, we already have those tropical alerts in effect right now issued by the National Hurricane Center. But what we're keeping a close eye on, of course, is the rainfall totals and those strong winds that are going to whip up as we head into the next 5 days. Like I said, up to around 30 to 40 inches possible throughout the island of Jamaica and throughout eastern portions of Cuba, as that's where the track is going to lead into this weekend's forecast. Just by Wednesday, 110-mile-per-hour winds are still forecasted at the center of that storm, keeping it at close to around a Category 2 as it moves over Cuba. It'll start to lose some strength as it moves its way closer to Bermuda, but this is going to impact lots of people as we head into the coming days, and we're keeping a close eye on them. Mugo?